Oh, Jesus, help me. I looked back and I was like, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. See how the world perceives it first before you get it down and print the book, because then you can't take it back. I mean, it is what it is. I can only speak from my experience. Decide whether you want to self-publish or if you want to go the traditional route, okay? My illustrator did not do formatting. All right, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheryl and I'm the activity author, and I'm just gonna hop on here real quick because I had somebody comment in the comment section below, and they are a teacher and they wanted to know how I wrote my first children's books. This isn't gonna be a real in-depth video, but it's just gonna tell you the steps I took until I made it to the promised land, okay? So this is gonna be the steps that I took to write my first children's book. So hopefully you know who you out there, commenter, teacher. Yeah, this is for you, okay? Or for anybody out there that wants to write a children's book that happened to stumble upon this video. So let's just jump right into it, okay? So first things first, off gate, you gotta figure out, do I want to be a self-published author or do I want to do the traditional route? And then for this, you're gonna have to do your research. I did my research. I had to outweigh the pros and the cons of self-publishing versus traditional publishing. There's tons of videos out there on YouTube where you guys can look that up and see what works best for you. I know for me, one of the reasons I decided to self-publish is because I wanted to keep most of my royalties. I wanted to have more control over my books. When I looked up traditional publishing, I'm not trying to scare anybody with this because this is just me looking up stuff and researching for myself. Traditional publishing, it's not cheap, okay? I reached out to a publishing company and I ask the fees that they take off of my books every time I get a sale. So you just got to go through that research process to figure out, do I want to self-publish or do I want to go with traditional publishing? And then you'll figure out the right answer for you and for your circumstances in your life. So first things first, decide whether you want to self-publish or traditional publish, okay? What I would do as well, if I could go back, I would have found a person to do everything I needed them to do, and I would have made a list. I would have made a budget list to see how much all of this was going to cost. And that's another way that you could kind of weigh out whether you want to go traditional publishing or if you want to go self-publishing, okay? I thought about what genre I wanted to write in, right? So I love children's books and I take my kids to story time all the time. I'm always reading children's books. When we go to the library, we go on to story time. Find out what genre you want to write in, because it don't have to be children's books to make it happen, but figure out what genre you want to write, figure out your topic, and figure out your target audience, and figure out your goal. So why do you want to write a children's book? Who is it going to help? What's going to be the purpose? You got to plan that out first. So this book came out during the time, I believe during COVID or like the George Floyd protest, the Black Lives Matter. It was around that time, right? And I was seeing just such negative things about Black men. The media was putting Black men in such a negative light. So I told myself, I want to write a children's book that celebrates Black men. Put more books and more images out there that feature Black men, that take care of their kids, a positive light with Black families. Then the second thing I wanted people to see, you don't have to be like tremendous to be called a superhero. Like in the book, the dad is like always losing. Like he's losing a video game. He's afraid of heights. You'll see him just being average everyday dad. Look, he's fighting traffic like every day. He is afraid of heights, about to fall off the ladder. The second goal of this book was just to show people like you don't need to be super magical to be somebody's superhero. Like he's an average everyday dad, but he's out there doing it for his family and living day to day and is just taking steps toward the next day. So that is why I wanted to write my children's books. Know your why, think of your topic, think of your target audience. Here's the next step. Write the story. I wrote my first book in Google Docs on my phone. You don't need no fancy equipment to do it. Just write. You can write pen and paper. If you need to write on sticky notes, write on sticky notes. Do what you gotta do. The first time you write your story is not gonna be the last time. I think I wrote about 3 versions or I revised my story 3 times until I got it to where I wanted it. After you write your story, send it out to people. Have people read it. Ask what they think. Ask their opinions. You know what I'm saying? So I just asked them, what do you think about this? What could be better? 2 questions. And somebody will be happy to tell you, people love giving advice, honey. They will be happy to tell you what you can do to make that story better or what you could add. You could take it or leave it, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's your story. It's your vision, right? But still, I like to tell people, send it out to people and see how the world perceives it first before you get it down and print the book, you know, because then you can't take it back. After you write the story, you're going to find an editor. I use for this book, I'm going to just keep talking about this book because this is my first children's book. I use Fiverr. I found a editor on Fiverr and they're cheap. I think I paid them $5 to $10 to read over my story. It depends on how many words is in your book. Now, if you're doing a chapter book, it might be more. I found somebody on Fiverr to be my editor, meaning they proofread it. They fixed all the grammar, because the grammatical stuff, because y'all, I'm a theater major. I'm an art major. I didn't major in English. So I know sometimes I have broken English and I'm geeky gullah. So I be talking in broken English. But yeah, I found an editor, somebody to read over my story and give me feedback on, you know, different things to add, take away, change, and it's been great. So, and I mean, if you find an editor that you don't really like and they didn't do a good job, get a second editor. I know people that have gotten 3 editors until they got their book just the way they wanted, okay? If you can't draw or if you can't illustrate your book yourself, find an illustrator. You can find illustrators on, this illustrator I found on Facebook. You can find an illustrator on Fiverr as well. I know they have them, but you need to find people that can illustrate the book to your vision. I had a vision for both of my books. Look at my books. So you see how this book looks totally different from this book? Like, look at the characters. Look at the, for example, look at the moms. You see how they both have 2 different looks? I wanted my, each children book that I write, I want the families to all look different. Okay, because I want more people to be able to relate to my books. I had a different vision for this one and this one. So that's why that's why I didn't go with the same illustrator. The way you envision. I'm a director, so I always have a vision when I'm doing something. Sometimes they may cost a pretty penny. This illustrator cost way more than this illustrator. I still love both of my illustrators, but this one, I was willing to pay the extra money for it because I had to have this book look this way. And if y'all want to see more of it, y'all can grab a copy. What is like $10, $12 on Amazon. I wanted the pictures to look hand drawn. I wanted it to look like an artist illustrated this book, like a real artist. So you're gonna get what you pay for. If you want to get the $25 per page illustrators too, that's your business. All right, then you have to go to Fiverr and you have to find somebody to format your story. Your illustrator is gonna illustrate it, and hopefully your illustrator can put the illustrations and the words on the same page. Both of my illustrators were able to do that. So you want to ask your illustrator, can you illustrate the book, and also kind of ask them, can you put the text on the pages as well? I mean, if they can't, that's still fine. There's people that you can find out there that can put the text on your pages, right? Maybe you can find a person that can format your book for you and put the pages, put the words on here. I wanted my text on here to look like a kid wrote it versus this one's kind of bubbly. You think baby, right? You see that? So yeah, so ask your illustrator if they format books. If they don't, you can always find a formatter. Don't let that make or break your decision to get your illustrator. So your illustrator is going to give you just pages. They're going to give you pages of your illustration, and some illustrators may format, but my illustrators did not. So I had to take the pages, and then I had a person on Fiverr compile it all into one file that I was able to upload to the printer. Okay, so you have to find somebody to format it and put your book together. Once you find someone to format your books, you'll just be able to upload it to your printing platform of choice, wherever you decide to print your books. And we're going to talk about that a little later, okay? What formats do you want your books to be in? Do you want an ebook? Do you want a paperback copy? This is a paperback. Paperbacks usually don't have any spines. This is a hardback right here. See, hardbacks, they are more durable, more expensive. But how do you want to print your books? So when I had to look up printing options for my budget, KDP was the best as far as for my budget. Now KDP, aka Amazon Printing, they are a print on demand. So what happens is they'll print books as you request them. So, or people can just buy directly from Amazon and you'll get a cut of the royalties once they buy it. Now, the best way to make money when you are writing children's books is to print overseas, okay? Printing, I know some authors that printed in India. I know some authors that printed in China. But just note, that's a goal of mine because I want to be able to have more copies of my books on hand so that I can sell them, therefore collecting more of my royalties for my books. But right now I don't have the funds for that, okay? So I had to go with KDP. Now the options, there are so many more options out there, but the options for printing for me was either KDP, Ingramspark, or printing overseas. Now I know there's way more printing options out there. I'm not a 100% expert in this, but I'm just showing y'all how I printed. KDP, they are a print on demand. So that's Kindle Direct Publishing. That's KDP, that's what it stands for. But it's basically Amazon, right? So Amazon will print your books and they will ship your books to people that buy your books. So if you want to go that route, I know authors that are making a living just on KDP sales alone. You're gonna have to sell a lot of books to be able to make a living on just KDP alone, because you're not gonna get all of your royalties. Let's say somebody buys your book for $10 on Amazon. Amazon's gonna take their cut, and then you get whatever's left of that. So you gotta go do your research, go see how much Amazon takes off the top and see if that works for you. Now, this is not my only way that I printed my books. KDP also, they only do paperback copies for children's books. I know they do hardback printing, but as of late, when I checked it, hardback covers are only for like chapter books. Unless KDP changes that, if they change that and they start doing hardback, child, I'm gonna just be printing with them for right now. But my goal and my dream is to print my books overseas, so therefore I can have more royalties. And look that up if you want to see the benefits. There's videos you can find on YouTube that people tell you the benefits of printing overseas and why you want to print overseas. Now let me tell y'all about Ingramspark. Ingramspark will do hardcovers for your books. You're going to have your books formatted for hardcover. So the person that formatted my books, they formatted a paperback version, paperback and hardback versions of my books as well. See the difference? So the paperbacks came from KDP. The hardbacks came from Ingramspark. So Ingramspark has a way to get your books into more stores. So the reason why my books can be found on Walmart.com or BarnesandNobles.com, Books A Million, is because I do distribution with Ingramspark. Also, I was told that libraries will be able to get your book quicker because they'll be able to search on the Ingramspark database and they'll be able to order your books that way. So if you want your books to be in bookstores and things like that, go with Ingramspark for your printing. Now, the only thing I don't really like about Ingramspark is I don't like their print quality. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't like their print quality. The print quality is okay, but I need my pages to look more vibrant. Let me show y'all something real quick. Yes, one is more glossy. One is glossier, that's this one. KDP, even though they kind of look very similar, if you look closely, you'll see that this one to me looks a little bit more washed out versus this one has more life in the color of printing. The printing with Ingramspark to me also, the pages are thin. I don't like how thin the pages are. You see this? They're thin. I mean, it's cute for my first, book or whatever, but I want the pages to be heavier. I want a hardback book with glossy, heavier pages. Okay, if that makes sense. Ingramspark, they don't have a lot of options when it comes to hardback books. Okay. Also, they take a lot of money. Like it costs so much just to get one hardback book. I feel like if I was to order one hardback book off of Ingramspark, it'll cost me like $9 to $10. So that's another reason why I don't want to stay with them forever. I may leave my book up there for distribution, but I ultimately want to print my hardback books overseas so I can get the quality that I want and that I'm comfortable with, because right now it is what it is. I mean, we all got to start somewhere, right? But in my opinion, I don't really love Ingramspark's hardback books, but I like what Ingramspark can do for me. I like that they have my books in more book and mortar stores. So yeah, so just decide how you want to print your books. And there's videos on here that you guys can look up to find that information. I have hardback covers for both of my books and softback covers for both of my books. I do also have a audiobook for this book coming out really soon. I just got to get it published. But yeah, just decide all the different ways you want your book to be in the world. Printing overseas, you have to print in bulk. And when I mean print in bulk, that means like, you can't just be like, hey, China, I want y'all to print 10 copies of my hardback book and send it to me. Or you can't be like, I want y'all to do 100 copies of my hardback book and give it to me. Most of the time, they're not even going to take something of that low quantity. You know what I mean? You want to, the ones that I've seen that are really good, they require you to order 500 copies or more. The more that I print, the more money I get to keep, because the cheaper the price per print, if that makes sense. So that's why I want to print overseas. So after you decide how you want to print your books, right, you are going to have to take that formatted file that your formatter did for you, and you're going to have to upload it to wherever you want to print. So like I told y'all, I printed with KDP and Ingramspark, right? So I had to actually get 2 types of files for each of the platforms, because there was a guy on Fiverr, like I told y'all, he knew how to format my books so that they would be accepted by KDP and Ingramspark, okay? So get you a formatter that knows how to, you know, do a zip file for you and have all your things compiled into one file so that you can upload it to those platforms. Once you upload it, you're gonna have to put in all the information about your books. You're gonna have to buy an ISBN for your books. This is the ISBN right here. You're gonna have to have an ISBN, which is a, you know, your book number that's special to your book. Each book has an ISBN. You're gonna have to buy that, so you're gonna have to look into your budget to see how much that's gonna cost. This is an ISBN as well. You can buy them individually or you can buy them in bulk. I bought 100 ISBNs because I know my goal is to write at least 100 books or 100 versions of books. I'm going to use all my ISBNs, trust and believe. As long as I'm still breathing air in this earth, I'm going to keep writing and I'm going to keep publishing. Go look on this website right here. I just put the link on here. Go check out this website and go see how much it costs for an ISBN, because that's what I did. So and then when you upload your file to, let's say KDP, you're going to have to type in your ISBN number. You're going to have to put in all the information, the description for your book, the book blurb, all of that stuff. And there's videos to teach you how to upload your books to KDP. Just kind of just giving y'all the steps. I'm not going deep with any of this stuff, okay? After you upload everything on Ingramspark or KDP, it's going to be a wait time for you to wait until they accept your uploads. Because sometimes they may come back and say, this file doesn't work, or this needs to be changed in this file. So they will do that. But if your formatter is good, you might get it on your first upload, okay? So once you have uploaded all your files and you're waiting, and once they give you the green check mark to say everything is good, now it's time for you to order your first author copy of your book. So you're going to order your first author copy of your book. They're going to send it to your house. You're going to flip through it. You're going to make sure everything is just like you like it. If you like what you see when you flip through your book, then now it's time for you to go ahead and make your announcement and tell people that your book is now available for purchase. Now, to be honest with y'all, the easiest part is just getting the book done, in my opinion. If you want to make this a full-time job, the hardest part is marketing, selling, and just getting them in the hands of readers. That's the hardest part to me. That's the part that I'm currently working on right now. So, because that's going to be a journey of a lifetime. You're going to always be marketing yourself and always pushing your books. My 2 books are done. My goal and dream is to write like 100 books. So you're going to have to love what you do to be able to sustain and keep the momentum going. So I love writing children's books. I love reading my books to children. I love going to bookstores and reading them. I love going to book signings. I love going to classrooms and reading. I love taking books and turning them into kids crafts. As y'all can see on my book inspired craft videos, that I have like 52 of those videos. So you're just gonna have to love this world of children's books in order to succeed in this business. Hopefully this video is not too long, but if it is, oh well. To the teacher out there that wanted this video, I hope that this gives you some insight on how easy it is to really, I mean, I say it's easy, but when you're starting out and you're like trying to find your way through the dark and you're not knowing where to go, it could feel hard, but trust me, I thought when I was publishing my books, y'all, I thought like, oh my God, this is so hard. I'm never gonna make it to the finish line. And then once I got that author copy in my hand and it was perfect, I looked back and I was like, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. So hopefully that's your journey as well. Now, something I would have done too on this, if I could go back on this author journey, I would actually document everything that I'm doing and share it on my social media. So if you don't even have a book out, but you are wanting to write a children's book, start a social media page. Go ahead and get your following. I started my Instagram page after my books were available for purchase. But something I've learned that a lot of people do, go ahead and start your Instagram page if you haven't already, or your TikTok or whatever platform you like to use. Really quickly, you could also, if you don't have the funds right now to publish a children's book, like your bank account looks like flies coming out of the wallet, you can do what's called a Kickstarter, or you can crowdsource. You can get people to fund your project. I know tons of authors on Instagram that I'm friends with. They did Kickstarters. They're not an easy road. I haven't done a Kickstarter, but I want to do a Kickstarter for my next book, and it's not a piece of cake. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's a lot of research and a lot of hard work goes behind Kickstarters, but they can be very valuable if you have no money, if you have zero money to get started on this today. So look up some videos on how to start a Kickstarter to fund your children's book. You can also look up grants. You can apply for grants to get money. So there's always a way. Like, you can't be like,
well, I want to write a children's book, but I ain't got no money right now, so I guess I'll have to wait till I get money.
Child, if I did that, I wouldn't have these books right now. And these books, I did not crowdfund. These came out of my hard-earned dollars, okay? Go ahead and get yourself into these author circles. There's so many author circles on Facebook, Instagram. If you just look up the hashtag self-published authors, you're gonna find self-published authors. So go ahead and start following people and finding people doing what you want to do. And then I would start announcing,
hey, I got a new Christmas book that I'm writing, and I can't wait to publish it, coming soon.
And then you can document your journey. You can document when you get that illustration that you love so much because your illustrator is killing it. Keep people wrapped up in your journey so they feel involved with the process. That's something I would have did if I could go back and do it again. That's a good way to market your books too. So once they do drop, everybody's gonna be running to go get it, right? If you found this video helpful, let me know as well, or like the video to show me that you found this video to be helpful. Hopefully this encourages you guys to write children's books, because I think everybody out there has a story to tell. Even if you don't just write children's books, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. I will check them out and get back to you guys. If you guys also want to connect with me in my journey, you can follow me on my Instagram. I'm sharing my highs and my woes and my wins and my losses. I'm celebrating all of that on there. So you guys can follow me on Instagram and you can just kind of keep up with my journey. So I want to see more people out there telling their story. So definitely, until next time, guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.